It's black to move. White has just attacked the queen. Most players would move the queen away immediately. But this is Tal. Instead of saving the queen, he finds a move that changes the whole game. Keep this position in mind. We'll come back to it in a few minutes. Now, let's go to move 1 and see how this attack was built. Hello everyone, welcome back to Queen Sacrifice Legends episode 17. I'm Aniket, an Arena International Master. Today's game is Milko versus Mikhail Tal, played in the World Student Team Championship from Varna 1958. Milko was a strong Bulgarian master, and in this game, he chose a sharp setup against the King's Indian defense. Tal was already one of the most dangerous attacking players in the world, and this game shows exactly why. If you enjoy classical attacking games and queen sacrifices, subscribe. Now, let's start. The game begins with the King's Indian defense. d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, d6. White builds a big center, f3, we are in the Smash variation. White wants strong central control and often plans to castle queenside. Tal continues with castling, knight e2, c5, striking the center right away, bishop e3, just developing pieces, knight bd7, queen d2, a6. That's very common idea. You put the queen and bishop on the same diagonal and you want to play bishop h6 and you want to trade this strong bishop so that black king will not feel safe. And here, white continues the game with long castling, queen to a5, just moving the pieces around white's king. Now, the game is already sharp. White has castled queenside, black has played queen a5, putting direct pressure on the queen side, and after king b1, b5. Tal starts expanding immediately, which is the main imbalance. White has more central space, but black has queenside pressure. And because white's king is on b1, every open file on that side becomes dangerous. White continues with knight d5, which is not a great idea here. The better could be play h4, g4, h5 and just start an attack on black's king. But here we got the position from the start. So let's pause the video here. It's black to move. White is attacking the queen. What should black do? Try to think like a Tal. And here, in this position, Tal did not care about the queen sitting on a5. He simply captured the knight on d5. Knight takes d5. This is the queen sacrifice. The queen is still sitting on a5, so white can take it, which he did. So queen takes a5, and now black continues with knight takes e3, capturing the second minor piece and attacking the rook. This is the point. Tal is not giving up a queen for one cheap trick. He's removing white's important pieces, gaining tempo, and opening the queen side around white's king. The game continues with rook c1, and now Tal captured one more pawn and played knight takes c4. And here, if white likes, he can play queen e1, but his pieces will be very inactive. So that is why here he decided to give up a rook for a knight. So rook takes c4, b takes c4. Now stop and look at the position. White has won the queen, but black has taken several pieces, damaged white coordination, and open lines near the white king. So material alone does not tell the full story. Tal has no queen, but he has activity, open files, and a king to attack. That's a pattern we are studying in this game. Now Tal continues with most important rule after sacrificing material. Do not play slowly. Bring every piece into the attack. And here, white should continue the game with knight f4. This is the best chance for the white to continue the game. The reason being is he wants to activate this bishop because till the point he will not move the knight, the bishop is not great. And yes, maybe he would be able to do some damage around the black king. But unfortunately, he played knight to c1, which is a small inaccuracy, and now Tal is having advantage. Tal continued the game with the best possible reply, which is rook b8. Black immediately uses the semi-open b file. This is not random. The b file points straight towards white's king. White plays bishop takes c4, knight to b6, attacking the bishop, bishop b3, bishop takes d4. Now you can feel the bishop on this diagonal is already a great piece. The knight will make sure that he will play c4, remove the bishop from here, and the rook is already sitting on a semi-open file. He just need to move this bishop on e6 or maybe d7 and then just double the rook on b file, and he got enough to at least draw the game, if not winning. But he's winning already. And white should play knight e2, just attack the bishop, and then he can put the rook on c1 and maybe he can save. But unfortunately, he played queen to d2, which is a mistake. And here, Tal plays the best move, bishop to g7. What's the idea? He wants to play c4 to attack the bishop. But if he plays c4, the queen will take on d4. So that is why he goes back first with the bishop and then he's preparing c4. Knight e2, c4. Tal pushes forward again. The point is to remove white's safe square and keep opening lines. As soon as the bishop will go away, this bishop and the rook both will be attacking on b2. So white has to be careful. So he moved the bishop on c2 and now we reached critical moment. So let's pause the video here and try to find the best move for black to continue the game. And in this position, Tal played pawn to c3. Black does not slow down. The c pawn breaks through and reaches the heart of white's position. And the point is very simple. If he takes with the pawn, white already lost a game after knight c4. King c1, there's a knight takes d2, king takes d2. Tal has won the queen back and now he's in a completely winning position. So that is why after c3, he cannot take with the pawn. It would not make a big difference if knight takes. So if knight takes c3, the problem is still the same. There's a knight c4. And that's it. The queen is attacked. After queen c1, there's a bishop takes c3. He lost a knight and now Tal is completely winning. So that is why c3 is a brilliant idea. And white cannot say yes to this idea. So queen d3, not accepting it. And now c takes b2. See this pawn on b2. It's a protected passed pawn. This pawn is just not a pawn. It's a permanently attacking piece sitting right beside the white king. And here, this is the last chance for white, and he should continue the game with h4, g4, h5, and maybe something might change. But unfortunately, he played one more inaccuracy and played knight to d4. He was just trying to block this bishop protecting the pawn. But Tal saw this move and he knows it's an inaccuracy, and Tal played bishop to d7, just developing his pieces and coming for white king. Rook d1, white uses his last piece in the game, rook fc8, just using his last piece as well. Again, Tal follows the same attacking logic. Improve the pieces, use the open files, keep the king under pressure, and you will eventually win the game. After bishop b3, white played bishop b3, and his plan is very simple. He wants to take on b2 because this pawn is very strong. And now Tal played knight to a4, just simply protecting the pawn on b2, and another piece joins the attack. White captures on a4, bishop captures back, knight to b3, hoping to save the king. But Tal said, not today. He played rook to c3, entering into the black's position with his rook. And now you can see power of two bishops and two rooks. The rook enters the third rank. This is a very important attacking idea. The rook is cutting across the board and threatening to invade. White grabs another pawn and played queen takes a6, attacking the bishop. So now bishop has to capture the knight. So bishop takes b3, a takes b3, and now Tal does not want to take the pawn because it would do nothing. Tal plays a great idea, which is rook bc8, simply doubling the rooks. And now if you see, both the rooks are active. Bishop on g7 supports the attack. Pawn on b2 is still dangerous. And white's queen, even though it's on the board, is too far away from the king. That's why queen sacrifice worked. White won material, Tal won time, activity, and access to the king. And he tried queen to a3, which is simply a blunder. So we reach the final critical moment. Find the move that finishes the game. And in this position, Tal played rook to c1 check. The rook invades the first rank. White has to capture, so rook takes c1, and now rook takes c1 check again. And in this position, white resigned the game. The final position is completely lost for white. The king has no safe escape. The black's rook has reached the first rank. The bishop on g7 control key squares. The b2 pawn supports the attack, and white's queen cannot get back in time. This is a brutal part. White had a queen for most of the game, but Tal had the attack. And in this position, the attack is worth more. And the reason why he resigned is king cannot capture the rook or the pawn, so king has to go on a2, and Tal will simply finish the game with either b1 queen or rook to a1, which both leads to the same checkmate. So that was Milko versus Mikhail Tal 1958. from the World Student Team Championship. Tal allowed his queen to be taken, but in return, he got active pieces, open files, and a king that could not escape. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe for the next Queen Sacrifice legend. And comment below, would you have found Tal's idea knight d5? I will see you in the next one.